Alright, we're going to model a pencil sharpener, an old-fashioned pencil sharpener like you'd see in some classroom. Alright, so let's look from the front and bring in a circle, and we'll leave it at the default 32. Rotate X 90. Let's bring that up, and let's S2. Just scale it a bit bigger. Let's box select all of these vertices here, leaving the two sort of horizontal ones. Press E, pull down, S to scale, pull it in a little bit. We'll straighten this out by SZ0 and pull it in like that. Okay, in edge selection, Shift Alt and click the circle, E and S, and pull that in a little bit like that. Select the whole thing, turn to the side, and extrude out a little bit like that. Shift Alt and click the outer circle now, that part there, and let's extrude it towards the back. Scale it down like this, and just choose the distance out you want it to come. So you get a small circle like that. E, extrude out a little bit more, scale it down a bit. F to make a face. Control B to bevel. If it does that, select the whole thing, Alt N, recalculate outside, and then grab that again and bevel. Put 1. Now we'll grab this edge here. Control B to bevel, pull, and we have this. Control 2 for 2 subdivisions. So let's have a look at this. And let's look from the front, go into edit mode and wireframe and box select the bottom. X faces, we'll get rid of those. And then we'll throw in a few edge loops here. Let's grab an edge loop and pull it up here, not too tight though. An edge loop back here, and an edge loop up towards the front. And this is what we have so far. We can drag an edge loop in here as well to tighten that up, although that part's going to be covered. Okay, let's make the base very simply. Let's bring in a plane, scale it up so it's a little bit wider than this area here, maybe like that. We'll pull it up here so there's less space at the back, more space at the front. You can go even a little bit more, maybe S to scale, and we'll just angle it in a little bit like that. Just very simple. Let's extrude down a little bit like that, delete that bottom face, and pull this up so they make contact. Alright, let's come in and select this edge and this edge, just all the vertical edges around. And then Control B to bevel, pull, put 5 in, nice curve. Take this one, Control B, pull. You can come back to a total of 3. And we'll have this. Let's select everything and recalculate outside. And put the cavity shader on. And look down from the top and bring in a cylinder, leave it at the defaults, and pull it towards the front. Have a big hole for a screw or a bolt right up around here, and then Shift D, I'll pull that towards the back, scale it down, and pull it over till I like the position there, somewhere around there. And let's break that one out so we can mirror that one. So we've got that. Mirror it, and then apply the mirror, and take this one in, Control J to join them. Okay, let's do a Boolean through this, so select it, choose Boolean, and choose those. Apply, we can delete those, and we have this. Alright, let's come in and let's select the bottom faces, and let's just bring them to the same level, so SZ0. And then pull them up a little ways. We don't need them going through that thick. Let's delete that bottom face, and now Shift Alt and click here and here. Now what we may want to do actually just before, just double check, recalculate outside. So select the outer edge on all of these. Hold down Shift and the outer edge, get rid of that one. And Control B to bevel, and have a few segments in there. Shade smooth, and then add weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth. All right, let's come in here now and select this face and Shift D to duplicate it, pull it out, P to break it out. So I'm going to push it back a bit, look from the back, Control 1, and let's delete only faces, and then box select these vertices here, leaving the horizontal ones there. I'm going to pull these down to about there and scale them in. Select it all, F to make a face, select the whole thing, and let's extrude and get rid of this subdivision. Like that, select it all, Alt N, recalculate outside, select this face, and now let's bevel, Control B, okay, and shade smooth. Take this piece and push it in. Then come back to here, select that face again, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, scale it down, P to break it out. We can get rid of the subdivision on that. Take this and extrude back a little ways, X faces, and select that face and Control B and bevel. And let's pull that in. All right, let's have a look at that and recalculate. Let's just see where we're at. Okay, so far so good. Okay, we'll deal with shading in a bit. Let's take that and Shift D to duplicate, pull it down, pull it towards the back. Let's rotate Z 180. Press Control 1, and in wireframe, let's scale that in and down here, like that, and then push it in so it's there. Okay, take that, and I've got both of them selected. So let's just Control L to select that one, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out. Take that and rotate Z 180 degrees. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that face and Control I to select everything else, X faces. And on that, I think I'm going to only do the only faces thing again and select the vertices. And Control 1 to look from the back. I'm going to make that as big as I can. Alright, with that done, I'm going to choose Check or Deselect and scale out just a little bit, like that. Now I'm going to extrude outwards like this. I'll scale down a little bit. F to make a face. Select the whole thing, Alt N, recalculate outside. Take this and Control B to bevel. And I'm just going to have one segment in there, and I'm going to just focus on the back, and let's close it up by selecting all of these, F to make face, and Control B as well, like that. Okay, so now I can take that, I can shade smooth, but really what I'm probably going to want to do is have a bevel on there, something like that, and then weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth to get that effect. Now I'm going to try to push that in. I really could probably get rid of the back. I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. Yeah, I think maybe we'll get rid of the back and try to cut down the polys just a little bit. So let's Control plus up a bit, get that, and then push it in. That's a better idea. Okay, take this and select just that, Control L, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out, and then take that and rotate Z 180 degrees, pull it in, and just scale it down so that it looks like it goes through, that holds it. So we've got that. Alright, so far so good. I think I'm going to make this a little bit longer, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take this and I'm going to scale that in the Y a little bit longer. Do something like that, a little bit more pronounced. Alright, now we're going to come up here to the front. I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge that goes around like that. I'm going to select it all and Shift S, cursor to selected. I just want my 3D cursor right in the middle there. All right, I'm going to bring in a curve now, a curved circle. Go into edit mode, rotate X 90 and scale. And I'm going to try to match that size there pretty much. Take the bottom point, I'm going to pull it down about halfway down this thing here. And I may bring this up a little bit if I need to. So this is what I have here. It is a little trial and error, so you just have to see. Go into the curve dialog box, and for the resolution, I'm going to choose 6 for this. Now I'm going to convert this to a mesh and take that and extrude a little bit. Just have a look. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Shifty, another little piece of that, and scale it down a bit. P to break it out. And this piece I'm going to use to make the long part of it. So I'll just extrude it out a little bit. I'll come back to that. But this one here, I want to just focus on that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take the whole thing and E and Alt S, and I'm going to push up so that it comes in a ways, and then delete those faces. So I've got that. And then in edge selection, Shift Alt and click those edges. And Control B, pull, have just 3 because I'm going to do Control 2, shade smooth. Take this and just recalculate just in case. Slash key to bring everything else back. Now let's take both of these and look from the front and go into edit mode and scale if we need to. Scale a bit in the X if we have to. That's fine. I think the way that's going to attach. Okay, just make sure there's no holes you can't see through it from here. Okay, so we're going to take this piece. I'll go into edit mode and Shift-D just to duplicate it, and I'll try it right in that position and just see how long it is. I want it to come out past here, and I think that's a reasonable size. I'm not sure yet. For the moment, I'm going to come in here and just have to make a face. I think that's going to be okay. We can take this and shade smooth and have a better look at it. All right, looking okay so far. So let's come in here and put in 5 edge loops like that. Control B, pull, roll back to 0 so you just have the 2 edges, not too big, just a nice small thing here. E, Alt S, and push to push it in like that. Okay, now I'm going to come in, put an edge loop, 1 edge loop in the middle of all of these, and then come back and select that edge loop, and then Control B to bevel, pull. I just want the 2, come out near the edge but not right at it, something like that, and try Control 1 or Control 2. All right, so I got Control 1. I have 1 subdivision on there, I have 2 on there. If you want, you can see what it looks like with 2. The next thing we're going to do is come in here, look straight on. I'm going to select that, Shift S, cursor to selected, and I'm going to bring in, let's see, a circle. Now this part, I'm going to try actually 128 vertices. Rotate X 90, scale it out so it's nice and big like that. All right, and then I'm going to use check or deselect, scale out just a little bit, and let's try Shift Control B, pull, hold Shift. I just want 2 like that. Take the whole thing and let's extrude outwards like this, and then E and S to come in and right click loop tool, circle. Let's stop there for the moment, just have a look at it. All right, I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to Shift Alt and click E and S. I'm going to come in, right click loop tool, circle. So I have this. Let's make sure it's facing the right way. And at this point, I think I'm going to just take it, and I need a lot of room here, so I'm going to let's see if I got the right one. Scale it back out, and F to make a face. And this is what I have. Okay. Slash key to bring everything back. Take it and pull it out a little ways from here. All right, so take this circle, Shift S, cursor to selected, and we're going to bring in a cylinder, and I'm using just a 32, scale it down, rotate X 90, and we're going to make a central indentation and then the holes around here. All right, so I just need that poking through, and I think we're going to be okay with that. So select, Boolean, select that, apply, take this, and then just move it out of the way. Come back to that. In fact, we can even hide it. Take this, and we're going to grab this. I'm going to pull it up a little ways, and I'm going to pull it up to about there, and select the edges and bevel, Control B, and have a couple segments in there. All right, Alt H to bring that guy back. Look from the front, go into edit mode, scale it down. So I want some holes. I'm going to do 5. I'm going to do a big one. The only thing is I just want to make sure I'm not overlapping anything. So I'm going to do a big one there. And then with my 3D cursor there, I'm going to spin this. So let's come to the spin in the Y, pull this down, change this to 360, and change the steps to 5. Select it all, Alt N, recalculate outside, come back up to here. Now I'm going to select that and Control L to select all of it, and then go to individual origins, and I'm going to go S.9 and enter. Select a bit of this one, Control L, S.8. This one I'm going to also do S.8. And this one, I'm going to do S.6. So it's just different sizes for these things. So this is what we have. Let's focus just on both of those. All right. So I've got all of those. I'm just going to make it easy on myself by selecting the back faces and make them the same distance in. So SY0. Just make sure they all poke through. We're going to do Boolean on this. Apply. Let's get rid of that. Let's come in, and now we're going to get rid of these faces. These will be holes. And now let's have a look at the Boolean. Doesn't look too bad, so I'm going to try to bevel this. Select the outer edge of all of these, and of course I'm going to get rid of stuff like that. So anything extra, we don't want that. That one. Control B and pull with a couple of segments in there. Shade smooth. And on this we will add a weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth. And I'm going to bring another edge loop up here like that. And we'll look, I might see if I want to bring another edge loop in there. It's going to increase the polys, but that's okay. So we've got that. Pull that out a little bit. Let's just focus just on that. Yeah, I want a better circle than that, so I'm going to delete that face and make sure that my 3D cursor doesn't have to be right in the middle, but I'm going to put it there. In edit mode, I'm going to bring in a circle that has the same number of vertices as this, and I believe it's 24, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to just select that one so I remember, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. 24. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a circle now that has 24 vertices. Scale it down, rotate X 90. I'm going to Shift Alt and click there, so I have my circle that I just brought in and this one here, and I'm going to Control E, bridge edge loops. Take this and scale it out, recalculate outside, Make sure that this is not flipped. Let's take that and that. Control E, bridge edge loops, and we have that. Okay, cool. Let's bring everything back, and let's come in here and edit and take this in edit mode and look through. Let's go into wireframe, and let's grab this circle, all of this stuff here. In fact, I'm going to dissolve that edge and have just that, and I'm going to scale it down a little bit, and I'm going to pull it up until it's in the position of the other hole. Scale it in a little bit smaller than the other hole. Try that. I now have a hole underneath that one. Hide that, take this, and just make it go in a little bit. E to extrude, come on in, and we'll bevel this. Control B, pull with a few segments there. Let's turn the subdivision back on. So you have a nice hole in our subdivision, and Alt H will bring that back. We pretty much have it done, unless you want to put some kind of things to hold this. So let's just have a look at this. We could, if we wanted to, let's look from the back, maybe select that edge, Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm going to bring in separate piece, I think, for this. Let's bring in a cube, actually, and scale it down so it fits, and scale in the X. And what we'll do is, let's get rid of this back face. We'll take it and pull it in. Take this, pull it out a bit. We'll scale that in the X. Maybe get rid of that face. Maybe we'll bevel this just by hand, and we'll see if we like this, if we need it. Control B. Shade smooth. Let's see. Let's just copy this by hand. Yeah. Let's Shift D. Pull it down here. Just make sure it's on the piece there. Okay. Back. Take both of those, Shift D. Let's rotate Y 90. That didn't work because I'm in individual origins. Rotate Y 90. So I have them there too. They're not that big. Let's try going back into individual origins and just scale them and see if that's going to look okay. Just as something that holds it. I just want to make sure that this one's not in the hole, and if it does become a problem, what I might do is let's select this, maybe just the center, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then select these, and we'll just rotate. Let's go back and median point. Let's set the origin to the 3D cursor and just rotate these to somewhere where they're not, overlapping a hole. Even something like that is fine, just so they're there. So if you ever look from a side, you'd see something like that. All right, is anybody flipped? You are. Okay. All right, everybody is good. The last thing really is to come in here and to select a little bit of this where we would have some kind of an information plate. I'll just take that. I'm going to Shift D. I'm going to go into normal. Pull it out a little bit, T to break it out. I'm going to get rid of the subdivision. All right, and I'm going to grab this edge and this edge and this edge, and I'm just going to slide it across, and this edge, and this edge, slide it across so that it would go under. And just before I push it under, though, I'm going to E and Alt S, and I'm going to pull, give it a little bit of thickness, get rid of that back face, focus on that, and I am going to actually bevel. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet, so I'm going to bevel the edges and the top. That one, and then Control B and pull, and I'll have, let's 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to bevel the top as well. Select all the way around. And Control B, and I can just have 3. I'm going to add a weighted normal and normal's auto smooth on there, and bring that back, take that, and let's see how well my normal works to just pull it in. Like, you know, something like that. And then I'll select this, Shift S, cursor selected. I'll go back into global, take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor and mirror that to the other side as well. Take that and flip it. And that is, I think, it. Let's turn that off. Turn on the shadow. And we have a pencil sharpener. Okay, I think if I had to do this again, maybe I wouldn't narrow this quite as much so that this could be a little bit bigger. But there it is. That is the pencil sharpener. And in the next video, we'll go ahead and we'll do some texturing on that. Okay, so hope to see you then.